Algebra 1, factorizing expressions 1. When factorizing expressions, you are basically placing terms outside then inside brackets by dividing coefficients and subtracting powers. So whereas expansion, you are multiplying coefficients and adding powers, in factorization is the reverse process. You are dividing coefficients and subtracting powers. Whatever you put outside the bracket must interact or must divide with all the terms to go inside the brackets. To do this, you place outside an open bracket the highest common factor of the numeral or the numerical coefficients. So you have to get the highest common factor of the coefficients of the numbers. And the letters with the lowest power, the letters with the lowest exponents. To obtain the inside terms now, to go inside the brackets, you have to divide each one by what you placed outside the open brackets. Divide the coefficient numbers. Remember, a negative divided by a positive is equals to a negative. A negative divided by a negative is equals to a positive. And now you have to subtract the powers of the identical letters. You do not need to write powers of 1. If you get a power of 1, you don't have to write a power. If you don't see a power, there is a power of 1. You cancel out letters with powers of 0. So any letter that has a power of 0, you cancel it out to become 1. So let's take, for example, you have this expression there and you want to factorize it. So we're going to demonstrate here how to factorize this expression. Or it is done here already, so let us just choose one down here. Let's just choose one down here. So you go to insert, you go to equations, and because I'm typing on Word. So we have 12 12x to the 7, so please write this down. 12x raised to the 7 times y raised to the 5. Plus 18x raised to the 2 times y raised to the 3. So now you've got two terms and you like to factorize those two terms. Now let's go back to the rules. If you do this a couple of times, it will become second nature. It says place outside an open bracket, so we have to create a bracket right away. Our first step is to create an open bracket. So you create a bracket. And outside of this bracket, on the left side of it, you look at the numbers, you look at the coefficients first and foremost. We're looking at 12 and we're looking at 18. We look for the highest common factor between 12 and 18. Can someone please tell me what is the highest common factor between 12 and 18? A factor which is common, but the highest one. So 6 is the highest common factor between 12 and 18. We write it down, 6. I'm going to both 12 and 18 without a remainder. Now, and we have to put the letters with the lowest power, the common letters. All right? The letters have to be common. The one with the lowest power. So is x common? We look to see x, x. Yes, it is common. So which one is the have the lowest power? X squared. So you put x squared there. Now you look at the y. Is y common? Y, y. Yes, it is common. Which one has the lowest power? Y cubed. So you put it there. All right, so this is what is meant by place outside an open bracket the highest common factor of the numerical coefficients and the common letters. This is missing the word common, not just letters, not the common letters. Very important word that is missing right here. The letters have to be common. If it is not common, you cannot put it outside there with the lowest power. For example, if they did not have a y cube, we can't put y cube there. It's only x6 and x squared we can put there. Okay. Take for instance, you have a z raised to the power of 2. Z is not common, so z cannot come outside there. The letter have to be common. Both x and y are common, so both x and y have to appear there, the ones with the lowest power. Now we are going to see what comes into the bracket now. And to do that now, we have to divide. We have to divide the coefficients and subtract the powers. So just for typing sake, I'm going to close the bracket. All right, because we're ready now to put stuff inside of the bracket. We have to divide. That's one way of doing it. How I'm doing it, that's one way of doing it. I'm going to take this, put this there, put the plus, and put that there also, the 18x squared y cubed. I'm going to pause and ask a question. Why am I putting the 12x7y5 and the 18x squared y cubed? Why am I putting both of them inside there? Can anybody tell me? Exactly what you said. The reason why we are putting the 12x7, the y5, and the 18x squared y cubed here, because both of them have to be divided. Here it is. They have to be divided so that we can know what's coming inside of the bracket. And we have to divide the coefficients and subtract the powers. You can remember when we were expanding, we were multiplying the coefficients and adding powers. Reverse process. Divide the coefficients and subtracting powers. They both have to be divided by this, the 6x squared y cubed. Let's copy it. They both have to be divided by what is outside of the bracket so that we can know what's coming inside of the bracket. They both have to be divided because they were both multiplied. Something was multiplied to get this up there. So to get back what was there in the bracket, we have to divide out. You divide the coefficients and you subtract the powers of the same letters. So let's just clear this. Let's just clear this and come back here. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. X raised to the 5. 5 subtract 3 is 2. Y raised to the 2. If you multiply this, you're going to get that back. 6 2s are 12. You see that? X2, x5. 2 plus 5 gives us back 7. 3 plus 2 gives us back 5. You can verify your answer as you're going along. Let's do the other one. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 6 3s are 18. 2 minus 2 is 0. X to the 0. Let's write it. Y to the 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. Any quantity raised to the power of 0 is 1. And here it is. You cancel out letters with powers of 0. So we can simplify this. And also, this is correct, you know. X to the 0, Y to the 0. But you don't normally see that. But familiarize yourself with it. X to the 0 is 1. Y to the 0 is 1. So that's like 3 times 1. 3 times 1 is 3. That's one way of writing 3 times 1. This is 1, this is 1. This is 3 times 1 times 1. That's what's going on there. And if you have to multiply this out, 6 3s are 18, and you're going to get your x cube y, your x squared y cube. So that's how you can factorize. They call that factorization. Okay, we call this factorization of expression 1. The reverse of expansion. You divide and subtract powers. Place into brackets.